I'm Kay Harms. Welcome to today's Trail Talk. Today we begin a brand new series called Dare to Lead. You know, sometimes in Christian ministry we hesitate to lead with strength, with courage, and with authority because we believe we're supposed to be servant leaders. Well, indeed, it's biblical. We are supposed to be servant leaders. We are supposed to serve with grace and humility. But that doesn't exclude the fact that we also need to lead with some authority and some strength and some courage. In fact, my observation has shown that more often when people revolt against leadership, it's not because the leadership is too strong, it's because the leadership is weak and floundering. So ladies, let's dare to lead with some strength, with some courage, and with some authority. So today we're going to discuss the first component of strong biblical leadership. And that component is the ability to cast a vision. Now, I don't want to just cast my vision for our women's ministry. I want to cast God's vision for our women's ministry. But how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to do three things. The first thing I need to do, obviously, is to seek God. As I'm praying, as I'm in His Word, I need to be asking Him, Lord, show me your vision for our women's ministry in this church and in this community. Whether your women's ministry is to young girls, is to women in a church, is a PWOC group or a college group, we need to know God's vision for that group. And so I need to ask Him. I need to seek Him. The second thing I need to do, though, if I'm going to expect an answer, is I have got to X off a few things. I need to throw off some restraints. The restraints of excuses, expectations, and experience. You see, sometimes we make excuses year after year about why we can't do certain things, or why we can't do it this way, or why we don't have the funding to do this particular thing. We need to throw off those excuses. We also need to throw off experience. Now, not all experience, but the experience that says this is the way we always do it, and we can't do it any other way. We need to cast that off. And we need to cast off expectations. You know, sometimes we bring a set of expectations to our women's ministry, and sometimes others bring a set of expectations as well that we just need to set aside so that we can hear God's expectations. So once we've thrown off those three restraints, I think the next step is simply to wait expectantly for God to show us His vision for our ministry. Now, while I'm waiting expectantly, there are several things I can ask myself and ask of God so that I can begin to see what He's showing me. One of the first things I can ask is, where do I see God at work already? Is He already at work in some new place in my church that I really hadn't considered to be a part of women's ministry, but now I realize it is? Maybe He's already doing something among a certain set of women, maybe the 20-somethings or our senior adult ladies, or even women who are working with young girls. Maybe He's already at work and we just need to join Him. I also need to ask, what are the visible needs in my women's ministry, in our church, and in our community? What are those things that are obvious, tangible needs that are particular to our women's ministry and in this place? You know, for instance, here where I live, we're in a military community. So a lot of the women that come in the doors of our church are military wives or even enlisted women themselves. And so I've got to be aware of what specific needs those women bring with them so that I can be able to minister to them. Another great question to ask, though, is just the converse of that. And that is, what specific set of skills, gifts, and passions do the women in my women's ministry bring to the table? You know, every ministry is unique. And like I said, we're in a military community, and I have found a particular set of gifts or skill sets that a lot of military women bring with them. For the last 2 years, our MOPS group has had a consignment sale where we've sold children's clothing and maternity clothing to raise funds for the MOPS group. And boy, those women, those military wives, they know how to organize. You think about it. Every year or a little bit, take or give a little bit, they have to organize their family, pack up their household, and plan a move across the country or even around the world. Those ladies know how to organize things. And so that's a specific skill set that a lot of the women in my church have. I might need to be putting that to work. God might have something in store for that particular set of skills. Another question I need to ask is, what are the things that God has been tugging at my heart about? What are the things that He's repeating over and over? Maybe there's a particular study that keeps surfacing among the women that they want to do. Maybe there's a particular topic that I see that they want to study, or that many of them are floundering with in their own lives. Maybe there's a particular season of life that many of the women in my community or in my church are beginning to go through. For instance, you might have a large number of new widows in your church. Recently, we've had a large number of widows in our young widows, and we began a support group, a support group for widows in our church. So those are just some of the ways that we can be watching expectantly for God to answer that question of, Lord, what is your vision for our women's ministry? Well, ladies, I hope you begin to think on those things. I know I'm thinking on them. Like I said, I have my meeting with my women's ministry team next week, and I've got to be able to cast that vision before those ladies so that we can all get excited and passionate and be on the same page. So next time on Trail Talk, we will talk about how to cast that vision so that others join us enthusiastically and passionately in our women's ministry. So take care, and I'll see you soon on Trail Talk.